up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. TSMC's global dominance has hit a new high, becoming the world's biggest semiconductor company by revenue for the first time. The Taiwanese chipmaker posted $69.3 billion in revenue last year, surpassing Intel's $54 billion and Samsung's $51 billion. TSMC also made a strong start to 2024, posting $6.9 billion in net revenue for January, a more than 22% jump from December. TSMC is a contract chip maker manufacturing semiconductors for other companies. It now earns more than other top firms who make their own branded chips. Taiwanese manufacturer Delta Electronics plans to invest over $500 million in its Thai subsidiary over the next 4 years. Thailand's Prime Minister announced Delta's move to increase its stake in the country on Wednesday. Delta Electronics briefly became the most valuable firm on Thailand's stock exchange last year. The manufacturer is one of several Taiwanese firms eyeing Thailand as a key business destination. It's a trend which analysts say will grow with the U.S.-led push to reduce economic reliance on China.
近几年来，以美国为首，一直推动的供应链去进行 China 加1的台湾的部分呢，也是从2016年新南向嘛，在这两个政策的加持下，自然泰国就会成为是新南向的主要销售据点。
Now, Taiwan's president is wrapping up an inspection of some of the country's newest conscripts, but this could be the one and only time she makes such a visit. President Tsai is thanking Taiwan's newest batch of troops for their contribution to the country's defense, just ahead of the Lunar New Year break. These young men are part of the country's first wave of one-year conscripts. Tsai extended mandatory military service from 4 months to 1 year back in 2022 to boost Taiwan's defenses. And although this is her first time visiting conscripts like these, it might also be the last, as she finishes her second and final term in office in May.
我也期许各位弟兄姐妹持续勤训精练，也精进自我。我要请国防部落实各项训练课程的执行，并且滚动的检讨，确保训练的品质和成效。
Tsai says part of the decision to extend military service was the threats coming from neighboring China, which seeks to bring Taiwan under its control. But there are also plans to reform the military, focusing on 4 main groups. These include Taiwan's main force, a volunteer army that fights on the front lines, conscript troops that support that army, civil defense personnel for medical and emergency relief, and a nationwide reservist program to provide additional troops in the event of a war.
The volunteer force to focus more on being the sort of like tip of the spear, right? They're the combat force, but even large combat forces need large logistics forces to support them. And also increasing conscript familiarity with things like what U.S. provided weaponry, so that way they know how to use it if they need to.
Taiwan has also been leaning on its largest defense ally, the U.S., for weapons and assistance. This group of soldiers here is one of a small handful that traveled to the U.S. for training. And Taiwan might continue to send some military personnel there to better prepare its soldiers.
因为台湾的地形比较有限，所以很可能就是可以进行整个联兵营的全套的一个操演，包括步炮装，还有甚至是空中兵力、无人机，还有就是这个电磁空间的通信对抗。 等等的这个全套的一个营级作战的模式，都可以充分的在美国的基地展开。
The conscripts here are training for 8 weeks before they're being deployed across Taiwan to various roles. And President Tsai is hoping that her plans remain in place after she steps down to provide the country's troops with the resources and training necessary to defend Taiwan. A Taiwanese textile firm is taking on its waste problem, turning fast fashion leftovers that would have been thrown away into useful everyday objects. John Van Tres has this report.
This factory is the test ground for an idea that could clean up the environment and help whole communities. It belongs to Taiwanese fabric maker Textile Enterprise, a firm whose big-name customers include Victoria's Secret. But each month, over 12,000 tons of its materials go to waste, either because they're unusable scraps or because they fail quality control. All this keeps the local incinerator very busy. The company has to pay large sums to have it all burned, and the process puts carbon as well as smoke into the atmosphere. But the firm's owner, 40-year textile industry veteran Huang Guopeng, has thought of a way to stop this flood of waste while also giving people joy. The idea came when he watched a movie in which the main character enjoys crafting. Why not turn the waste into something? Last year, he opened a crafting classroom where people can learn how to put leftover scraps of cloth to use. They can make cute decorations,
就是一个像小糖果盒啦。
clothes, and indigenous Taiwanese regalia.
像我们有丰年祭嘛，就会想说带个比较简单的，这样子也结婚也可以带。
Or more involved projects like yarn bags. It's early days yet, but several hundred people have already taken part in the workshop.
我的想法就是说来这里玩一天而已，就是说把它提供一个场地嘛，反正大家来这里做环保，对我来讲我是减碳嘛，对不对？我也许可以得到碳权啊。
And the idea is spreading. The classroom is sending unwanted scraps to schools and community centers across Taiwan. And it's even planning to send fabric to Turkey's Syrian border, an area home to many Syrian refugees that's also recovering from a magnitude 7.8 earthquake last year. The hope is to teach people how to use these bits of cloth to create useful items, turning what was an environmental problem into a force for positive change. Joseph Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Whale research in Taiwan is set to get a boost as the government is calling on the public to help with studies on humpbacks. Southeastern Taitung County is putting its money where its mouth is, offering cash rewards for people who report whale sightings. Locals have spotted humpbacks more frequently off Taiwan's coasts over the past 5 years. The whales used to be hunted in Taiwan during the early 20th century, causing their numbers to plummet. Scientists say the recent resurgence in the area is proof that Taiwan is a vital part of their migratory patterns. Fields of gold are attracting people from far and wide to Taiwan's southeast coast. Laurel Stewart reports on how the irresistible crop is able to maintain its pull on the public.
Nestled between these mountains in Taitung, this Valley of Gold is not just an essential crop for farmers. The rapeseed flowers also draw tourists to Chishang every year. The crop is usually harvested at the beginning of spring, but with this year's Lunar New Year falling later than usual, some worried they wouldn't have time to visit the area while the crop's in bloom. To solve the problem, the government is subsidising farmers to delay their harvests till after the New Year, so more tourists can visit over the holiday period.
协调跟情商大约播了90公顷，在伯公庙前面，它的画面是最美的，尤其当我们的火车经过的时候。
Farmers usually grow rapeseed before planting rice, the other crop that Chishang is known for. It helps increase soil fertility and reduces the amount of fertilizer they need to use. But in Chishang, it's also a central part of the seasonal cuisine.
它期限很短啦，基本上在半个月至1个月内就不会吃得到这一道我们比较特别在中午线吃得到的油菜花了。
And it's a novelty for tourists too.
都是吃芥蓝炒牛肉，没有吃过说那个油菜炒牛肉。
And by extending the harvest season a little longer than usual, the aim is to bring a touch of gold to everyone visiting Chishang over the new year. Ryan Wu and Laurel Stewart for TaiwanPlus.
A dragon is flying over Keelung in northern Taiwan to celebrate the Lunar New Year. This is Inglong, a dragon believed to bring prosperity in Chinese folklore. But it's not real. It's part of a special augmented reality app designed to bring the New Year's spirit. Visitors can bask in the dragon's blessings at the city's Maritime Plaza. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out this footage of Swiss pianist Alain Roche taking his art to new heights in Munich. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care and see you next time.
From all of us here at Taiwan Plus, Happy Year of the Dragon.
龙年快乐！